That's a fast intro.
Holy, that got me jacked up.
I wasn't ready. We have two. Anyway, that was fast.
I need the full song. I love that. So
we're clearly not professionals, but hello. It is a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. where I'm at, 9 a.m. where you're at.
9 a.m. Central
Bright
time.
and early. Got your coffee. Welcome to the debut edition of For Exposure with me, Pluggo and Blair. You've seen it all over social media. So we're here to just talk about, what are we here to talk about, Blair?
We're here to talk about independent wrestling because there is not enough coverage on that. You know, it's near and dear to my heart, it's near and dear to your heart, and it's just something, it's a chance for us just to talk about more stuff we love.
Yes, so that's kind of where this thing, whole antithesis, I don't use big words real well, so
that's okay.
I was sitting around one day and I said, you know, I watch a lot of this independent wrestling. I sit around and I don't have I talk about it on Twitter, but it doesn't get covered as much as I'd like. There are some good people covering independent wrestling, don't get me wrong. We love them dearly, but here at Love Wrestling, we have an independent wrestling promotion of our own, plus all the other great indies out there. So I said, Blair, buddy, pal, what do you think about this? Let's do a Saturday morning, bright and early. We'll get you ready for the weekend that is independent wrestling and to talk about the weekend or the week that was independent wrestling for roughly an hour, maybe an hour and a half if things go long. But you said, and what'd you say? I don't even remember. You were like,
I think you said it, and I gave you the heck yeah thumbs up. You know, because it's Saturday morning. You don't know who's watching, so I was like, heck yeah, let's rock and roll, and I was all aboard. So
who's watching? Lawrence is watching, saying let's go. Zach made this beautiful graphic for us. Good. So good. He's just saying hello, hello, hello. So
Zach is a wizard.
Zach is an alien. He's a straight up alien wizard. Maybe he could be both, but yeah. So that's kind of where this game. I'm going to throw this out there in the first episode. You know, I don't think Blair and I will be able to cover every single independent wrestling promotion in the world, but we're certainly going to try, and we'll talk about the stuff that stands out to us the most. Throughout the week.
It seems like every week there's at least one or two big shows to talk about. So that's what we'll bring to you. You know, I mean, we would love to be able to cover everything, but it is just not, it's not possible. No, Zach, it is not possible. We cannot cover them all. We cannot
cover them all. We're going to try. I can tell you it's a lot. There's a lot, but there's a lot of big, good, fun stuff. We're here all week. This is true. We'd be here all week, literally, Zach, if that was the case.
Just wait till WrestleMania weekend, and then it's just going to be a 3-day stream of For Exposure.
We might have to take some personal days at the shoot jobs and just hunker down in our basements and just live stream for that 4 or 5 day stretch.
Just going to call in sick.
Yeah, you guys, it'll get really gross at the end of the collective week. That was also kind of the reason I wanted to do this, to be completely frank and honest, is like I was sitting there watching the collective weekend and I was just like, there are so much talented wrestling going on with individuals across. It was all in LA, but from across the world, they all came in for Mania weekend. And where was the coverage? So we're going to do that. We're going to be those guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come to us on Saturday mornings, maybe the occasional Sunday. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You know,
we might do watch it. We might pop up on a Tuesday. I don't know. I figured it out yet. We're here to drive Zach crazy.
We're going to have fun with this. You know, they're just randomly. We're going to message Zach halfway through the week, being like, "Oh yeah, we're doing it on Monday at 1 instead." Zach's going to hate us. So
He does it already. So yes, that's what we're here for, the exposure, because that's what independent wrestling is, right? You do it for the exposure.
Yeah. So
we're flipping it on its ear. We're making it a good thing. We're going to help bring some exposure to it.
Exactly. Because I mean, I think you, yourself, myself, everyone watching, like you see people out there, wrestling these small shows, and you want to see them, get the eyes on them, get the love, get the attention that they deserve. And hopefully we can provide a little bit more of that.
Because that's where a lot of these wrestlers you see on, let's say, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays start in the indies, and they grow to, this is where they start. So you should support them now. Speaking of support, before we dive into this, I have to do it. I haven't done it yet myself, but we have to pay the bills. I have JPJ's got a beautiful voice. We should just get him to record it and do it. And post it. Beautiful. But I'm going to try, because our podcast today is brought to you by our new partner at BedStamp. Today's podcast is brought to you by BedStamp, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way that travelers use Google Flights or Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use BetStamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you could possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer you a varying payout, and these differences can be huge. That was...
There you go. There you go.
Thankfully, BetStamp allows you easy line shopping for the most profitable odds in sportsbooks. You could click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for the game lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping, the simplest way to find an edge in sports betting. On average, BetStamp users win an extra $1,000 a year merely by using BetStamp. And if you use that referral code right there, Love Wrestling, you will get even better chances of winning. You'll let them know that you saw us here and that you love us and that you love betting. It's a wonderful thing. I kind of butchered my first BetStamp read app, but we'll get it. I didn't know the timing. JPJ is a pro on Thursdays when he does it. Everybody else, I'll get it. We'll get it. But I've used it. I've used BetStamp personally. I've never gambled before in my life. I downloaded BetStamp. I used it and I won, and it was wonderful. And Barack Arani, my guy, my dude, I love Barack Arani saying, be smart and bet on Paralira as your new tag team champions. And we are going to talk about that shortly. We can do it really quick now. And Barat, I never picked the Rads. Ever.
I'm betting on Paralira to win. I think it's their time.
All right. I'm with you because they're awesome and the Rads are not.
Yeah, I mean, we'll like you said, we'll dive into it more. But I mean, 200 days as champion, it's time for them to lose. It's time for the next team.
And exactly. That's right, Barack Arani, new champs. I'm pulling for you. Yeah. We're going to talk about the LPW card because we here, like, this is again part of the reason this show exists now. Is LPW has a show. We need to cover those more, and I'd like to do that. And Blair and I love LPW. So at the 26th. This upcoming Friday, we have LPW 15. Vulgar use of power bomb.
Vulgar display.
Sorry. Jesus, I'm tired. Don't let Spencer see that. I hope it's
display.
It is.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm looking at it right now and I can't. I don't know why I said that. Anyway. So we're going to cover that. We got GCW's got 2 big shows this weekend, plus a few other odds and then matches that stood out to us. But let's start with, if we were going to do this show, let's say we did it last week, we would have previewed last week's stuff. So let's review a couple hits or misses from, not even misses, just hits from last week. Just hits. There was no misses. Honest mistake, Pluggo. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, last week was quite the weekend. I mean, Saturday was a big day for wrestling, big day for the Stollery kids with Michael Richard Blaze, the Infinity Gauntlet, raising over $10,000.
Yes.
And he wrestled for 8+ hours.
8 hours.
I
can't do anything for 8 hours.
No, I don't even like to work for 8 hours.
Speaking of, Barat, if you're still in the chat, he was part of that.
He was.
That had to have been an experience. So get 8 hours. Michael Richard Blaze, 20 years in the business, decides, I'm going to do this charity event and wrestle for 8 straight hours. and raise money for Stollery's kids. Like you said, he raised over $10,000. He wrestled for 8 hours and 2 minutes or something. He even went overtime for us.
Him and Stephen Crow, the Rhinestone Cowboy, they capped off the event. And I mean, just seeing the video clips, seeing how like everyone, just the vibe there, cheering along at the end. I mean, like it was enough to bring a tear to my eye. It was, like very heartwarming to see that.
Yeah, everybody, like it was just everybody came together. And Brett saying the man did not slow down. It was all from the start to the very end. Like I have to imagine his body was just completely done the next day. Like I'd still be in bed if it was me. If you were like Pluggo, go wrestle 8 hours straight. And then like I'd be like, I need to cancel bookings for the next month. Like
he was out there for 8 hours, and this week he's still in the gym doing 400-pound deadlifts like a beast. And I'm just like, God.
In the nicest way possible, because MRB is a friend.
Yeah.
He's a sick individual. He's just sick. He's sick in the head. What are you doing? You can take a rest. Nobody would have thought otherwise.
But such an incredible thing for a great cause. And I mean, seeing him put that on, everyone being a part of it, bringing awareness, raising that money, that was something very special. And I mean, that's going to go down in wrestling history just for everything that it kind of brings attention to, it's like and it's well deserved.
Oh, Garani saying he's also been training all week at the clandestine. Jesus.
Like just
he's a madman. He's a madman. We had to shout that out because that is just impressive no matter which way you shake it. MRB is also a very good dude. All the people at the Clandestine Society are awesome as well. Good on them. Mm-hmm. My goodness. 8 hours.
There will be no one who will be able to do the same.
8 hours. That's like one Star Wars movie.
I only recently watched the original Star Warses. It took me 30 plus years to watch them. So, I mean,
I'm with you.
Not my thing.
Don't, not mine either. Trust me. We have that argument all the time, but I just figured that's how long it was. What else stood out to you from the weekend?
We had the Queen of the Indies, West Coast Pro, putting on Queen of the Indies, which is huge because there is not enough coverage for women's wrestling. They do not get the same opportunity. So for a promotion to do a show like that, thank you.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I sat there and I was watching this Queen of the Indies last for a Saturday night. Was it Saturday or Friday or Saturday? Oh, I think it was Friday.
Could be.
Felt like a Friday. Maybe. Whatever. Friday or Saturday night. I'm getting all my dates confused today. That's what I do. And I'm thinking to myself, and you're telling like there's not enough talented TV ready female talent to put on an all women's pay-per-view. Yeah. I wonder what promotion I'm talking about there. I won't mention any names. We're nice people here at Love Wrestling. We're not going to slander anybody, but it was a good night. It was a great show. Gigi Ray, LPW alum, was in the building. She had a nice little showing in the scramble. Masha gets it done and wins the Queen of the Indies, which I don't think anybody would have, I don't think anybody could have picked otherwise. She's fantastic. I love me some Masha Slamovich. Just a good night. I enjoyed the format too, where they had the first round matchups and then they took those pairings and put them into a tag team. And then the winning tag team was the finalists.
Yeah, it's different. I enjoyed that. And I mean, like Masha has had like the past couple of years have really been something special. I mean, she won the Battle of Kuako in, for Lucha Memes not too long ago last year. She won that. I mean,
she was GCW world champion now.
GCW world champion. She was in Bola this year. And I mean, with PWG, the women's matches, I mean, have been so few and far between. The last ones before her and Jordan Grace or with Yuka Sakazaki was Candice LeRae how many years back? So, I mean, there's a big gap. So to be able to see her get those opportunities and then to be able to do something like this, the Queen of the Indies, put on some incredible matches there. And ultimately win it. I mean, that's huge. I'm so happy for her getting this.
Not even a match. She had that match Bound for Glory last year with Jordan Grace, which was one of the best matches I had seen all year. Like Masha, like for my money, like she's on the short list of just like people of like, if she's wrestling, like I gotta see the match because she's always doing something different. She's always so much fun to watch. We got Zach saying, well, what's crazy is NWA low-key has one of the best women's divisions and they need to make more noise about Empower 2, please. Yeah, that's what I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to put it out there. I was trying to be nice. You know, I get told to be nice. But yeah, NWA they are shaping their division back up. The funny thing was, it was better. Like, and this is no slight to the women that are now, but it was better like around that time where he was like, I'm not doing Empower. They had a few more names. A few of them moved on, but now, yeah, NWA, like, what are you doing? Like, you would get so much more goodwill if you made an Empower 2 and you took, like we saw, there was Billy Starks there. High End was there, the Queen of the Indies. Like, that whole night was awesome. Nicole Savoy was wrestling. Like, you telling me you can't call these women up, make it work. You obviously have connections within AEW, Impact, and other places too. We could make an Empower too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I don't know the reasons why it's not going on, but I mean, you could easily take a handful of wrestlers from AEW. You have your Impact. You have, maybe Tokyo Joshi Pro. You can get a few over from there. And there's so many.
He said there's not enough TV ready talent, which is like a slap in the face to the women you already have, because Camille is amazing. I love Camille. Camille and I are like best friends.
I saw 2D Lynn wrestle last week, and you can't tell me that she couldn't be in a featured match on that show. Like she was at the last one. Why couldn't she be at the next?
Which is funny because like you would think you would want to build off this success, because if I mean, the NWA isn't necessarily in the indie realm, but a lot of indies wrestle there. So I guess we could stay in that vein for a few minutes. I would say like Empower that weekend was flanked by, I think it was NWA 74. I want to say they did like Empower, then they did 74, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. It was a double weekend.
Yeah.
And Empower was far and well received more than the NWA show as a whole. So for you to just be like, oh, well, we did it. We're good. We're not going to ever do it again when everybody's asking for it. Like, I swear, friend of Love Wrestling, I swear Ella J is on Twitter like almost once a month going, when are we getting Empower too? And Kristen Ashley, same thing. Like, all these people want it. We all want it in the media. We've talked about it on numerous programs here across Love Wrestling as well. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what West Coast Pro showed. Like, you can do it. There's plenty of talent where you can put on a compelling show, have a Queen of the Indies tournament, and like, you just build off that. And if West Coast Pro could do it, a place like NWA or somewhere else could do it as well. And like, we're going to talk about it in a second. GCW is having their world title match tonight it's a 6-woman scramble. And all of those women are incredibly talented women who could be on an all women's pay-per-view and absolutely slay.
Hell, I think one of the women is still with NWA wrestling regularly, if I'm not mistaken. So with Allison Kay. So you're telling me that you couldn't take the 6 right there and have them in a tournament or have them on the show?
I guess not, but that's the thing. I don't know how it works. I don't understand what the logistics are there, but teach their own, NWA. Teach their own. But I mean, WWE's not doing it either. They could have had oh my God, I'm drawing the blank on what it was called. Evolution. Yes, Evolution. The first pay-per-view my son Owen ever saw. It was the weekend he was born.
Nice.
I was in the NICU with him watching. I was like, hey, check this out. This is your future, buddy. But yeah, so good morning, friends. Is that the boss? Did we get Spencer up early for this?
Maybe.
Heck yeah. Good morning. He's just here to make sure I don't screw anything up
anymore.
I got it out of the way before he got here.
I talked about Queen of the Indies. That is a good segue, because I know, like, me and you, we both like to watch matches. I'm throwing my hand right at the camera. We both like to watch, different matches, and there's lots that stand out to us. And I know watching that Queen of the Indies, Masha Slamovich and Hyan, that was one of my favorite matches I was able to check out this week. And I mean, what you get with Masha, but with Hyan, it's few and far between what I had seen, but she wowed me with that match. I mean, incredible. And I mean, I need to see more of her. I know she's got a few more dates in the upcoming weeks, and those are like, that's must-see TV for me. There was I gotta punch up my notes now, but
But isn't that the best feeling in like when you're watching? And that's kind of why that's one of the reasons I love independent wrestling is like you watch a show for Masha, but then you find somebody else like a high end, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I want to add that to, we'll say add to the rotation of like, I have to see these people wrestle. Like that's the best part for me is like I go to a show expecting whoever, and then I end up falling in love with a different wrestler, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, Blair.
It is. Like
you're gonna get me all teary-eyed.
There was a sequence there where they were alternating trying to get a suplex in, and watching that, and then it turning into like almost a stalling suplex. I'm like, yeah, I am a fan. You know, all it takes is one move, and I'm like, I'm fully on board.
I was low-key disappointed that they paired those two together in the opening round. I was like, not because you knew Masha's winning, right? You just know, but you're like high-end former Quizplex contestant.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So shout out to our friend High-end. But yes, she is fantastic. I think she's got a bright future. She's one of those people too, where it's like you don't think she's TV ready. You don't think she's ready for a bigger stage. Come on.
Like
she's ready.
I assume she's had to have been, you know, on Dark and Dark Elevation before getting those chances. So it's like you're just waiting for, you know, whether it's an Impact or an MLW to snatch up High End, bring her aboard, because like like we said, Impact has a good division. NWA, MLW has been able to bring in some talented wrestlers. So you're hoping that one of these take the opportunity, bring her aboard, and show what everyone else has missed out on.
Yeah, and not to mention Veda Scott killed it on commentary, and I'm blanking. I'm gonna look it up. I'm blanking on the other person's name that helped her. They did awesome. The commentary team at West Coast Pro did a good job.
Yeah, they did.
I'll have to look it up. I feel bad, but it was all around a good show. Great show. Great time.
Was there anything this past week that really stood out to you match-wise?
Outside of MRB?
Outside of MRB, because I know that was a big focus. I mean, I had the laptop on and I'm just watching like for 3 hours straight and just like, yep, just continuously. And it was great.
I mean, it just happened last night, but Cardona and Fatu at House of Glory was a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed that match immensely. Like I just enjoy this Matt Cardona. I know that's kind of like he's not really like an indie guy, you know what I mean? But like he's wrestling the indies. He's the indie god. We would be silly not to mention how fantastic his run has been, and people just hate him, and I love it, and it's amazing. But no, that match last night was really good. GCW had a show last weekend that I thought I have to pull up my notes. I'm a little behind, sorry, because of all the prep for the debut show.
There's a lot going on.
I forgot to pull up my notes, man.
Look, you do that.
I'm a dope. You talk about you while I pull up. I'm going to
talk about how great Zack Sabre Jr. and Tony Deppen was from GCW last week. I mean, it took me a little while to get into Zack Sabre Jr. I wasn't hugely a fan, but like as soon as I started watching his matches and kind of maybe growing up a little bit, I was just like, yeah, this guy, he whips. Like just watching him embarrass people in the ring, stretching them out, his grappling, his mat work, submission holds, incredible stuff. And then you have, you know, the annoying little brother, Tony Deppen, who you just want to see get beat up all the time. That's what I'm here for. I want to see that. So, I mean, the match was great. And you watch, there was a moment in it where Zack Sabre Jr., he had one of Deppen's arms tied up by his leg, started retching back with the other one, and you're just wondering how the human body stretches like that. And it's no surprise that Deppen wrestled the match. I think he had a broken elbow he suffered midway through the match and still kept going. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was up on the GCW show from last Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken. There's also, if you go to Tony Deppen's Twitter account, there's a link to get a shirt with proceeds going towards recovery, because he's going to be out of action for a while. So.
And speaking of people in regard, I just saw it this morning while I was going through some stuff. Kevin Blackwood had his car broken into last night and lost all of his merch. So I think there's a link on Kevin Blackwood's Twitter page to help him out, because that sucks. If you're an independent wrestler, to it's hard out there, and for someone to do that, to because he's got a big match this week with Brian Keith. God, wake up! It's early, Pluggo. But but yeah, Brian Keith. I think it's at AIW. Yeah,
DPW Deadlock Pro, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay.
Are we good at this or not? I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But no, I thought last week was fun. I will look it up. I thought it was AI. I sent it to you, so we.
You did.
Here, it's right here. I got it. Yeah, you're right. DPW. You're right. AIW is where Matt Cardona is currently champion. That's what I'm thinking about. I got Cardona on the mind still because he's wrestling this weekend as well. But I thought last week's show at GCW overall was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Marcus Mathers and Dylan McKay. I think that team, Wasted Youth, God, I think they're going to be super good. I know that Marcus Mathers calls himself the young prodigy, but every time I watch those two wrestle, I see something where it's like, these guys could be super good. And I'm excited to see that. And then, of course, my girl Sawyer Wreck wrestled Rob Shit. Shout out to Big Bad Boris. That was a fun little match. Oh, Rob Shit. What a name. She's another one that I just enjoy. Sawyer Wreck is another one. Every time I watch her, I fall more and more in love with what she does. And I just have to watch when she wrestles. She's wrestling at H2O this weekend opposed to GCW, which is interesting.
I noticed that when I was going down the rundowns. She wasn't on. I think she's on the one for tomorrow night, but not tonight. So
yeah, which she'd have been fun to throw into that title. She just had a title shot though a couple weeks ago. So I guess you don't want to keep giving them away.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
You got to earn it.
Handing out title shots.
Why not? Why not?
Come on.
Why not? I'm okay with that. I'm pro just giving them to people. Why not? Let everybody win. You ain't got to earn it.
Well, you had mentioned GCW this week, and there's two shows: Saturday night, Sunday night.
Do you like that, by the way? Do you like the back-to-back shows?
It's a lot to take in. Because it's sometimes it's tough to be able to put that up as an argument, being like, hey, how about we watch wrestling to both nights of a weekend? So I pick and choose my battles.
Is that with the significant other? Is that what you're saying? Hey,
yes.
For me, it's kind of the same. I pick my battles, but I also with the kids. I'm I don't know if we can watch GCW quite yet. I can get away with WWE and stuff with the little ones, but GCW, I can't have Charles Mason stabbing people out in front of my kid, because then he'll be like, I can do that to Dad.
Yeah, you're gonna wake up with a
fork in my forehead.
Gusset plate or something like that, and you don't need that.
Whoever thought gusset plate was a good idea? Jesus, who's walking around going, you know what? That's a good idea.
That shows my deathmatch knowledge, is that's the one thing that I can hammer out in gusset plate.
But if that's the one thing that you can hammer out gusset plate wise, then I think you're doing just fine. Because that wouldn't be the first thing I would think of. I'm pizza cutter.
Oh, should have went with that. Shout
out to Nick Gage.
Yeah, MDK.
He's wrestling this weekend.
Yeah,
or he's appearing. One of the two. He's right.
Yeah, he was appearing at I want to say the second show, maybe the first one too. But I know he's going to be at the GCW show.
Yeah.
He just faced off with Artemis Spencer last week for Defy.
Jesus, everywhere. So, Artemis Spencer, former Love Pro Wrestling alum as well. Yeah. So did they have one last night? And they have one tonight?
Which GCW?
Yeah.
No, they have one tonight and then tomorrow night.
Okay, because they're what I've got for my notes, it said, and this could be a mistake on their end. It says that they're in Detroit tonight.
Yeah.
And then it says they're in Columbus on the 22nd. So that must be a typo on their end, because the 22nd would be Monday.
Yeah, and you know Brett is good friends with Steph. He's not going to go against WWE on a Monday night. So
right.
they're two good
So because
friends.
it says Sunday the 22nd, but if you're here to get that GCW information, I'm assuming they meant Sunday the 21st.
Yeah.
So let's just go. We're gonna break these down real quick.
Yeah.
We don't have to dive into everything if we don't want, because there's so much that we have to do in so little time. But night one, which match stands out to you? We got Yamashita versus Lloyd in the Ultraviolet title match. East West versus Motor City Machine Guns and Maceros. I don't want to Macisos. I don't want to butcher. Janela versus Ninja Mac. Maki versus Shaza. JWM versus Crazy King. Effie versus Blake. Manser versus Vendetta and Lufisto. Nick Gage are scheduled to be there. Don't have their opponents up.
Well, so the two that I'm most excited for, hands down. I don't know what to do with my hands sometimes. The two I'm most excited for are the East West Express versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Macios, because
that's gonna rule.
I love the Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah. I love Nick Wayne, and Jordan Oliver has had such like an incredible couple of years. Just like his glow up has been magnificent. Like from when I first saw him in MLW, like the kid has put in work and he's come so far. So those guys in the ring, the match is going to whip. It's going to be lots of action, high flying, and that's my jam. So like those six, very excited for that. And then the 6-way women's match. I mean, you really can't go wrong with that one. With
that on Sunday, or is
that's Saturday.
That's Saturday. That's right.
So you got Masha Slamovich versus Lufisto versus Shazza McKenzie versus Ali Catch versus Maki Ito versus Allison Kay.
You said it wrong. It's Maki F and Ito, bro. She's gang affiliated now.
Sorry, Maki
F and Ito,
gang affiliated MDK. That match, I mean, it's with something like in this scenario, I'm all for, like a 6-person match, sign me up. But if it's like on like a mainstream pay-per-view where it's like a 4-way match for like a secondary title, I'm just like, But like in this kind of sense, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna whip. I think it's just a way that they build it up.
Yeah,
so I think it'll be a lot of fun.
And I think Masha, if I'm not mistaken, is the first ever GCW champion, women's GCW champion. Not women's GCW, the GCW champion who happens to be a woman. Let me fix that. And then I have to imagine this would be the first ever all women's title defense of it, because if Masha's the first woman to win the thing, this is going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on here with Masha's title reign in GCW. It's been good. It's been very cool. She had an awesome match with Mike Bailey not too long ago. Shout out to Speedball. Blake Christian, I know he's eyeing that title. He wants it. I love Blake Christian so much. That shit-eating grin of his when he just walks around.
People hate him.
I know, but they hate him, but they love him. Like they're like, we have to hate this guy, but we love because he's so good. But anyway, so I don't know how long Masha's going to hold this title, because as she keeps moving up those ranks in Impact and things like that, I think she's going to find herself back in that title picture very soon. I don't know the commitments, but it's fun right now while it lasts. And what a perfect, she's a badass. As Veda Scott said at West Coast Pro, you could run Masha over with a truck and she'd get right back up and win a title, because that's how good she is. And then you add Shazza McKenzie, Maki effing Ito to this, Ali Catch, like sign me up. And like you said, like maybe that's a little too much if you're just doing like in a mid card thing, but to put this on as your main event, it's going to be something.
Yeah, I think so. Was there anything else that really caught your eye with this, the first Saturday night show?
The Effie versus Blake Christian, I was going to touch on that really quick because I think I just said it. Like I love Blake Christian a lot, and I love Effie, and I've enjoyed this like Effie's perpetually over in GCW, so like it's a perfect blend of like everybody loves Effie, nobody has a bad word to say about Effie, and the Blake Christian who just everybody currently hates right now, which They didn't before. Blake Christian was GCW. He was the
Yeah.
guy, and then like he flipped to that heel turn, and it has been masterful in my opinion because it's just like he plays it so well. I still do this. I don't want to go down the tangent of like I think that he was signed to WWE like 6 months too late because they decided to switch over to this 2.0 stuff.
Yeah,
and I think he got out of the WWE system, and it took him a little bit to get his footing. But as soon as he hit the ground running, and his indie run since he's been back has been phenomenal. So for me, that match I circled as I gotta see it.
Him and Alex Zane were really like the next wave of like indie wrestling before WWE signed him up. And I mean, they both come back out full bore, and you see Alex Zane, what he's been able to do, get on with New Japan, do some shows there, and he's still doing the indies. And yeah, Blake Christian, like to see before he signed, where he was like pure white meat baby face, everybody loves to
all heart.
Yeah, all heart to see the guy that they just despise now. It's like Dom Mysterio level heat, and you're just like, yeah, I'm still into it.
Oh, 100%. And then just to cap off this night, Jimmy Lloyd versus Yamashita is going to be Rena. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's somebody I just discovered like a couple months ago, like to be completely honest with you. And it was one of those moments where it's like, she's badass. Like, I got to keep watching these. So that's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of violence tonight. A lot. So viewer discretion is advised.
Maybe don't have the little ones there.
Maybe keep the little ones, occupied with something else. This might be one of those that I start a little later in the night after they maybe fall asleep and just catch up. Because like you said, I mean, my kids know who their dad is, but I'm trying not to be that bad. Like, hey, come watch Nick Gage with Pizza. No, we don't do that. You guys will stick to the fun stuff on Monday nights and Friday nights.
Knowing your audience and just, there's time for that later on,
I got shit once upon a time. I don't know how many times I told this story. I was watching NXT, and it was back when the Hit Row was big, and Swerve was doing the rap, and my son, who's a little younger then, was dancing to it and like had a microphone and was mimicking Swerve, and I was able to get a video of him doing it to the TV, and I actually posted it to Swerve, and he retweeted it, and he loved it, and he thought it was funny, and like, but there were still people in the comments going like, I can't believe you're letting your kid watch wrestling, it can get. And I was like, this is the WWE stuff, this product, and it's Hit Row. There's nothing bad here. So I can't imagine if I was like, he's got a pizza cutter in his hand and he's rooting for Nick Gage, how much hate I would get on the internet.
He's going to have his toy pizza cutter, and you're going to be posting a video of that, and everyone's just going to be up in arms.
CPS will be at my house. So yes, I would not have fun follow to that. I met Swerve at Warrior Wrestling, and I mentioned that video to him, and he was like, oh my God, yes, I remember all of it. He said, in 10 years, reenact that. I said, so in 10 years, you want my teenage kid to be in a diaper? And he's like, absolutely. Just do it. It'd be hilarious. And I was like, all right, Swerve, you're the man.
He seems like such a great guy.
He's a very cool dude. But yes, so viewer discretion is advised. That'll be at 8:00 tonight on Fight Plus. So if you have Fight Plus, your child is going to like to. Lawrence, you say that in jest, but I bet if he could, he would like to me. He's becoming quite the wrestling fanatic. He was cutting promos on me last night while we were watching some stuff, and I was like, leave me alone. I don't want to fight you right now. It hurts. You're violent.
Goes just in tears, and
I'm just in the corner cowering over. But yes, that one is tonight at 8. And I'm not, again, like I said, if you're looking at their socials, Sunday, the 21st, they'll be in Columbus. What do you got? What do you got as a standout for that?
I'll run down the card since you did the last one. I'll do this one.
Ooh.
We got your favorite Blake Christian versus Trey Miguel. Ooh. We got Gringo Loco versus Ninja Mac.
That'll be good too.
Alex Shelley versus Alec Price, which should whip. Matt Cardona versus Cole Radrick. Mackie F and Ito, gang affiliated MDK versus Steph DeLander. We got Team GCW consisting of One Called Manders, Effie, and Alley Catch versus Team Unsanctioned Pro with The Swinger, Davey Bang, and August Matthews. We got the GCW Tag Team Championships, East West Express versus Joey Janela and Sawyer Wreck. And we got the GCW World Championship, Masha Slamovich versus Mance Warner.
Ugh, hose me down. That's a bet. I think that card's better than today's, but
that's a solid card.
That's a very solid card. I mean, Masha and Mance, somebody's gonna get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Please be safe, you two.
There's like a solid 4 matches on this card where I'm like, yeah, I'm into this one. I'm into this one. Like that I will go out of my way to make sure I watch.
And I'm going to watch East West Express versus Janela and Sawyer Wreck 100%. Like I said, I love Sawyer Wreck. Joey Janela is incredibly underappreciated, in my opinion, for not only the work he does in GCW, but the work he did with the AEW to get them off the ground running. Like people sleep on it, but Janela is very good. And like you said earlier, East West Express, that's a team that like they've grown on me. Like Jordan Oliver early in his career, I never knew how to feel about him. Like I was like, I like some of his stuff, but then there's matches where I'm like, I didn't really feel that. And then he's consistently gotten better. Nick Wayne is a phenomenal talent as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. Alex Shelley, get out of here. Well, versus Price. My God, I'm going to steal all the thunder. You better take a couple of these matches before I steal them all.
I mean, I just finished watching Alec Price and Judas Icarus from not too long ago. I think it was Beyond or Limitless that put that one on. Judas Icarus and Travis Williams went from BC out east, did a couple of shows, and I mean, their match was fantastic. Alec Price is incredible in the ring, so him and Alex Shelley should be magnificent. Shelley, I mean, he took a little bit of a break a few years back, but he came back full bore wrestling with Impact, doing all these indies. I mean, he even had a cup of tea with teaming with Kushida for a Dusty Classic for one match. So, I mean, seeing him wrestling some of the top guys on the indies signed me up. Gringo Loco and Ninja Mac, that is right up my alley. And I mean, it's funny because like a guy like Gringo Loco, same with Jordan Oliver, my first introduction to them was watching MLW beginning of the pandemic, because that was, you know, all you could do is watch their, you know, no fan shows. Yeah. So I was watching those. And I'm like, okay, these are kind of cool. You know, I'm into them. And then you see them out on the indies being able to do their thing as it should be. And you're like, heck yeah, these guys are awesome.
Yeah. Gringo Loco's fantastic. If I'm a betting man, I would say this maybe starts the night. Start off hot. That guy always knows the moments, knows what to do in those moments, and always knows how to get that crowd going. So like they start high, but they tend to start with a scramble match. I think that's GCW's kind of formula. So they might have something that they haven't listed on the card per se that they might run with first. But if I was going to book the show, I'd put Gringo and Ninja Mac first and let them just go for 15 minutes and get everybody hyped up and going. Because I mean, it's going to be an all rise kind of night anyway. You got Matt Cardona showing up and Cole Radrick, who is GCW's like that's another one of those guys that like that crowd like is so behind. Like Cole Radrick is their boy. I feel like if he ever turned on that GCW crowd, they might lose their mind, because that's the thing about GCW. That's what I love about GCW so much, is like, I know some people kind of sleep on GCW and like, it's not the greatest wrestling in the world, whatever. People are going to hate, but like when that crowd loves somebody, they get like Nick Gage. That's a no-brainer. They go nuts. They go insane. Pound for pound, Nick Gage's fans are crazy. I think the most passionate fans in the world. I mean, he may not have a ton, but they'd stab somebody for him.
I'm going to put you on the spot, because I mean, I'm only familiar with her work as a part of NXT. So Steph DeLander, why am I caring about what she's doing now? Because like I haven't been able to see too much.
She's with Matt Cardona.
So Matt Cardona is the selling point here.
To be completely frank, I will be honest. Like disclaimer at the top of the show, we can't cover everything all the time. We can't see everything. She's also one of those that I'm starting to figure out. Like I'm seeing her with Cardona. The work she did last night with the helping out with Fatu, I can see why it's valuable to Cardona. I've seen she did wrestle. Where did she wrestle? I saw a match of hers last week, and she's not bad in the ring. It's not. I don't know. I want to know more. So I know that's a cop-out answer of like, you put me on the spot, I should have it. I want to know more about her, so I need to dive a little deeper into her catalog to kind of get to know her. But right now, she's the queen of the death match, is what she's billed as at where she goes, and she's basically Cardona's muscle.
Like, I feel a little bad putting you on the spot, but like the vibe I'm getting is that like her indie run, she's actually getting a chance to be herself and not just like the typical, mainstream wrestler, what WWE wants. So here she's actually able to show some personality, to show what she can do in the ring, and actually wrestle a style that's more comfortable to herself.
Yeah, and you see that a lot on the indies after these, certain people leave the WWE system, and it's no knock on the WWE system because they make billions of dollars, so it's working. But yeah, they'll tend to take people, put them in these boxes of like, you have to do this, you have to do that, and then when you get back onto the indies, you find yourself, you have a good run. Like Blake Christian's a great example. Yeah. We talked about it earlier. His WWE run wasn't great. But now he like, once he got out of that, got past and over the whole WWE thing, he's hit the ground running. And like, I don't think you'd want to change that. I think that's why you're seeing more and more super talented people in the indies, because they're realizing I can make really good money at this. And I don't have to be in the WWE. That would be cool, but I don't have to do it. I can go wrestle my style, my way, do whatever I want to do. Like, look at Matt Cardona, this perfect example. Like, he can literally, if he wanted to run back the broski gimmick on the indies, he could make a good living for the rest of his life doing that. But he said, nope, I want to do this. I want to be this guy. And since he's Matt Cardona, he's going to get booked. But I mean, he could show up and say, this is what I'm doing tonight. And everybody's like, yeah, that'd be great. So like, I love it. I think the indies, I think Steph DeLander's got a bright future on the indies. I think being with Matt Cardona is only going to help her, because like you get to pick his brain on the road constantly. Like, hell yeah. So I'm interested to see what more she could do. She's got a match this weekend, so definitely going to put that on the must-watch list. And next week we'll talk about it. We'll see. Maybe that'll be the match of the week. Who knows? I don't know.
You never know. And I mean, we got One Called Manders teaming up with Bussy, and I mean, who doesn't love Bussy? I mean, they both got announced for IWS show in Montreal coming up, so that'll be great.
They're going back to Montreal. That was a hot crowd for that GCW IWS. Zach was there, Lawrence was there. They were representing.
That crowd was on fire that night, and I mean, I got to see my second best friend, Sexy Eddie, out there. I mean, he got to wrestle. And
who's your first best friend?
You are.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah, come on.
I was like, we're shutting this down after half an episode.
All of a sudden, you just see only Pluggo on the screen, and that's it. Well, I don't know.
Oh, no, it would just be you. I'd leave. It's fine. I'd leave you with your best friend, Sexy Eddie. No, Sexy Eddie is a lot of fun. And that's kind of like, if we can go off on a little side quest here, like that's kind of where like you and I's like independent wrestling conversation kind of really took off. It's like, you got to interview Sexy Eddie, and then he did that. He went viral at that GCW show for doing the full moonsault. And then we just kind of started spiraling out of control. And now it's like, we've got a show.
Yeah. And I mean,
debut show. Watch out.
I'll sit there scrolling through Twitter. I'll see a show announcement. I just text it over to you, be like, dude, look at this.
Look at this. We got to watch this. We got to. So
Speedball Bailey versus Roderick Strong. And it's like, heck yeah.
Oh, speaking of, best friends, our other best friends in the house, JPJ, welcome in. You're a stud. You're a stud, friend. JPJ, my co-host, have Between Two Beards on Thursday nights here on this very same channel.
It's going to lead to another show called Best Friends Between Two Beards, and it's just going to spin off and continue to grow.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Taking over the airwaves, baby. But yeah, JPJ, if you're just hopping in we're talking some GCW. We're finishing up the GCW weekend, and we're going to segue into the Love Pro Wrestling that's going to happen next Friday, because we want to preview some Love Pro Wrestling. And next Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv, Love Wrestling. So it's twitch.tv/Love Wrestling CA, or is it? Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
And JPJ says he's on a break at work. My heart goes out to you, brother. I know last night was rough for you and your boys. Celtics down 0-2, but that doesn't mean it's over. No. People have come down from 0-2 before, buddy.
They might have an answer for Jimmy Buckets. I don't know.
They need to. Grant Williams needs to get out of his face. That's all I'm saying. But yes, we are on Love Wrestling. We have for those that don't know, we have a independent wrestling show ourselves once a month. And it's in Edmonton every month at the Rec Room. I'm excited. I just talked to Jack Pride about his first ever Scramble Championship win. twice this week. I got to talk to Jack Pride twice. That was pretty dope. But why don't we break down that card? Because I think every match has been announced, if I'm not mistaken, or there might be one more sneaking out this week, but I think they're all announced.
I think so. So, I mean, we can take the time, run it down, and let's kick it off with the scramble match, because, I mean, we got the newly crowned champion, Jack Pride, the man of two minds, facing off against the Thickness Reed Matthews, Taryn from Accounting, Mo Jabari, and my favorite, the wily veteran.
The wily veteran
himself. So, I mean, that's going to be a hell of a match. I mean, I love me a scramble match, especially like this, like where you have 5 different styles in there that each one could become a champion, like any of them rightfully so as well. So, I mean, I don't know, there's just so much room to work with it. It's fun.
Well, yeah, this is so. For those that don't know, if you're catching this later, if you're in the chat now, the scramble match has been kind of a staple at Love Wrestling since its inception. And I've talked to Spencer a few times about it. He loves the scramble match. He thinks it's a great way to evaluate some talent and just throw really cool wrestlers into the mix and kind of see what happens. So it just made sense naturally that we get this scramble championship here at Love Wrestling. And the first one, Jack Pride, none better. That guy has been a staple since day one. He's put on banger after banger, whether it be that spot with Son of Irish where he took that like nasty Spanish fly thing into whatever it was called. I'm not great at what moves are called. I'm just going to throw that out there now, but it was nasty. You can see it on our YouTube channel in the shorts. It's there. His work with MRB. So Jack Pride is awesome. And we love TFA. I'm rocking it today. TFA all effing day. She'll be gang affiliated soon. She's a fantastic person. She's highly decorated. She's a face of LPW Day One Clandestine Society. She's your first ever Love Pro Wrestling Challenge champion. She held it for the longest time until, that dastardly Mitch Clark took it from her. Mo Jabari is fantastic. I love Mo. Mo is a talent. I think not enough people know about Mo Jabari. That's what I'm going to say. Like, you need to get to know that man. He's fantastic. And of course, the wily veteran Jared Rogers debut here for Love Wrestling. He did the Clandestine Society LPW his debut match last month. He definitely impressed a lot of people because we're talking about him. I thought he looked. That's why we've dubbed him the wily veteran, because he looks like he's been doing this a long time. Yeah. And he's only had one match.
Seamless in the ring. I mean,
and this isn't a joke. Jared, we love him.
He's really good. He is good. So that's why he's the wily veteran. So I have all the love in the world for him, and I can't wait. So, here we go.
Oh, I'm mistaken.
That's okay.
He debuted against the Thickness last month. What was I thinking? I'm sorry. So it's his debut in the scramble match. See, that's why Spencer's here, to keep me honest.
So I mean,
he's got 2 matches, and so he's very young and very green, but he's very good.
Yes. So I mean, with a match like this, I mean, Jack Pride, such a great mind for wrestling. Like, if you had the chance to talk to him, to be able to pick his brain and just see the way it works, I mean, like, he's a really smart guy in the ring. So, I mean, I'm excited to see his first defense of this title. Yeah. I'm excited to see what TFA is going to bring to the table, what Reed Matthews, what Mo is going to bring. And I mean, it's going to be a hell of a match. I'm very stoked for this one.
Reed's another guy that I think, he's got a lot to prove in this match. I mean, he's been Zoe's muscle for a while, and then he did the Short Kings thing with Mars. I think he's looking for an opportunity to break out and be his own, show what he can do. And I think if he pulls it off and beats Jack Pride, that's one hell of a way to do it. Yeah. I don't know. Jack Pride's pretty damn dead set on keeping that thing, as he told us on Thursday night. Like, it's not going anywhere, is what he said. So, well, good luck to all the competitors.
Yeah. I mean, coming off of that, you also have, the rest of 7 in a match with Mars the Specialist facing off with TJ Cannon.
Yeah. We talked to Pride about that as well. He said brothers got to fight sometimes. So 7 is a newly formed group here to Love Pro Wrestling, and I was on the bandwagon. Very formidable team. I obviously picked them to beat a certain other team that now has ruined my life every chance they get. But yeah, sometimes the brothers got to fight. Jack said, "Listen, I'm going to put them in the ring. They're going to figure this out. Hopefully they figure it out. And we can be stronger than ever." So Mars versus TJ Cannon, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, last night TJ unfortunately dropped his 204 championship to Trent Seven here in Winnipeg. So I mean,
Oh, really?
I know he's going to be looking to get that back this weekend. So good luck to TJ, and then he'll be off to Edmonton to figure this out with Mars.
Hopefully, get Seven back on track. So that'll be a fun matchup.
We had Barat joining us earlier. Him, Paralira are going to be challenging the Rads on their 200-day reign as tag team championship. So I mean,
I'm going to let you go first.
I mean, I'm ready. I want to see Barat strapped up in LPW. So I'm kind of hoping that they win. I mean, all the respect to the Rads, but it's Paralira's time. So let's see them rightfully get their championship.
The last time I made a prediction in a Rads match on a Love Wrestling stream, they have not left me alone. I was right. They faced off Seven. I said Seven was going to beat them, and they did. And hey, to all the Rads' credit, last month they wrestled a hell of a match. They came out on top. They did it the right way for the first time ever. I don't know. Like you said, I'm ready to see some new blood in that tag team title division. So, like, I don't ever pick the Rads. It's never been a team I've picked since day one. So I'm not going to start now. Come on, Barak Rani and Sheik Shabazz. Yeah. Sheik Shabazz is a brick house, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I watch his matches and I'm just like, it's like it hurts when you punch him.
He's a solid
like
dude.
It's supposed to hurt him. It looks like it hurts you.
I'm hoping that Paralira come out with the gold strapped around their waist. It would be well deserved. So I think it's time. Hopefully they can pull through.
And before we continue down the card, because we are going to finish out this card and get out of here, but we have to also pay one more bill. RK Athletics, speaking of Rich King, one half of your LPW Tag Team Championship. He's also a personal trainer. So if you go to RK Athletics 1 on Twitter, if you're looking, it's the season. The weather's warming up. It's beach season. If you're just looking to, shed a few pounds, or you want to eat a little bit better, healthier, or you want to get absolutely shredded like Rich King, he'll do that for you. He'll help you out. Like, personal feelings aside about the wrestler that is Rich King, the personal trainer that is Rich King is phenomenal. He's been a day one sponsor here at Love Wrestling. He does a phenomenal job. He's even helped me, pick some better eating habits to try to, I'm getting up there in age. I got to eat a little bit better. I can't just choke down Monsters and Slim Jims for the rest of my life and expect to keep this physique. So,
you might not cheer him on in the ring, but he will cheer you on if you need some help, with your fitness goals, your journey with eating better, any of that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's a fantastic personal trainer. So go to RK Athletics 1 on Twitter and get hooked up with Rich King today.
Okay. Well, we got a couple more to run through, and then we got to get out of here. The time's ticking down, but we got
debut episode. We're running long, baby, because we had to get all that stuff out of the way.
Yeah. LPW Challenge Championship. Mitch Clark challenging Son of Irish. And I mean, I'm a big Mitch Clark fan. I know he's a part of the Rads, but like I still like the guy. He speaks his mind. He goes out there, he kicks ass. I mean, that's everything I like in a wrestler. He'll ground and pound, he'll grapple you, and he'll talk trash. So I mean, I don't know. This is going to be a fun one. It's Son of Irish has had a hell of a run the past little bit. So he's going to be looking to continue that on. These two are going to have a good wrestling match. I can't wait.
Yeah. Son of Irish has been that lovable loser for so long. And then unfortunately, Mitch got injured and the title had to get relinquished. And Son of Irish was able to capture it. What a moment. I don't think Son of Irish is ready to give this thing up. Mm-hmm. Mitch is back and he wants his gold. And like you said, like I may not root for the group, but he is a formidable opponent. He is top of the food chain at any promotion he goes to. Son of Irish is going to have his work cut out for him, but I can tell you this, it's going to be what the kids say, a banger, because these two put on really good matches. And I can't wait to see a rejuvenated, refreshed, fully healthy Mitch Clark. Oh God. It's going to be good. I don't know how Son of Irish is going to do it, right? I don't know. I think he sneaks it out. Maybe. I just don't know. I don't know.
I think he's going to sneak
Spencer, if you're listening, tell us how it ends.
Mitch is on the top of my list of like wrestlers I want to see like get more opportunities throughout Canada, throughout the States, because he's up there. So
he yelled at me once or twice.
Did you deserve it?
Maybe.
Okay. We got another member of the Rads, T.Y. Jackson, facing off with Michael Allen, Richard Clark, the man with the longest name in wrestling. This is stemming off of the main event from the last LPW show. So, I mean, it's these two in the ring. I think there's some bad blood that's really going to boil over between them.
I would think so. I would think so. Like, you know, they both didn't come out, you know, on top for the world title match. I think they both probably blame each other. So let's put them in the ring and see what happens. And then I don't know if this is a number one contenders match or not. That has not been discussed. But I would ultimately feel like you put this match on, these two go head to head. Whoever comes out on top might get that shot at Zoe again in a one-on-one setting. Because to be fair, like Michael Richard Allen Clark, my God, that's such a long name. He's the one that came out to challenge Zoe, and the TY just kind of got involved.
Yeah.
So if anything, he's got that beef from that. So let's settle it. And then whoever wins, I would love to see him go ahead and take on Zoe Sager. Why not? But again, we'll see how it plays out.
You know, he's going to want his solo opportunity for it.
They both
no one
do.
else
I think they both would want it. Yeah, why not?
It's a huge, like, that's the ring they're going for. And I mean, it's a great opportunity because winning this match against, you know, the other person who was in the triple threat last month, I mean, that's a huge feather in your cap, and it's going to elevate you that much more. So
TY has been on quite a trajectory since he joined the Rads against what I thought was his better judgment. But hey, I can't stop him.
We got MRB and Stephen Crow, pardon me, facing off against El Asenio and Sid Greed.
Okay. So I will admit, I don't know much about El Asenio and Sid Green, but I do know about MRB. We talked about him at length. We gushed over him hours. We could have done it for hours. And Stephen Crow is fantastic. That dude is over.
Yeah.
People love the Clandestine Society. I am interested. I need to actually sit down and maybe do a little bit more research on Sid Green, and that, you know, because I don't know who that is. I want to be completely upfront. So do you know much about him? Let me know.
I know very little about Sid Greed. El Asenio, I've only seen a couple matches of his before. So, I mean, this is like, I'm going in watching this, not knowing a whole lot. So I don't know what to expect. You got to think, I mean, MRB coming off that 8-hour match last week.
Yeah, how much has he got in the tank?
Yeah, training still all week. He's still hitting the gym. So it's like, how much is this taking a toll on his body? So this is a huge opportunity for El Asenio and Sid Greed to really make a name for themselves.
Yeah, sneak one out. That could be, and that's something, like, I've said this on other shows many a times. Like, this is what I've loved about us having our own independent wrestling show and Spencer and then putting this on. Like, I didn't know a ton about a lot of the Canadian wrestling scene, because down here in the States, surprisingly enough, like, the independent wrestling scene kind of is slept on, which is weird because, like, all of the best wrestlers in the world come from Canada, or a lot of them do. So I don't know why we sleep on it. So, like, it's been able to open my eyes. And this is another one of those matches where, like, I didn't know who MRB was until I started working here. Who knows? Maybe Sid Green and them will be. And was it El? I don't want to say his name wrong. El
Asenio.
El Asenio. Maybe they'll become huge fan favorites of mine. I didn't know TFA until then, so I'm excited. Yeah. Who knows? You never know. Now I know all these people, and they yell at me or they love me in the locker room. It depends.
Well, we talked about TY and Michael Allen Richard Clark. They were a part of the main event last month.
Yep.
Now Zoe Sager is going to be defending her LPW Grand Championship against Sebastian Wolf at LPW 15. Now, talk about match that has banger written all over it. I mean,
former State of Emergency, they split.
Yeah. So
I was surprised to see that. Like,
they were one of my favorite tag teams in all of wrestling. I mean, the talent those two guys have, Sebastian Wolf, Miles DeVille, I mean, they were incredible in the ring. I mean, I've mentioned with a very few other teams before, but in that team, there was no Sean and Marty dynamic. It was both Sean and Sean. So they're both incredible. So
absolutely.
Sebastian Wolf getting his opportunity against Zoe Sager. Zoe Sager, one of the best wrestlers in North America right now, without a shadow of a doubt. She's gotten the praises of Bret Hart himself. So
yeah, that's, I don't think you can get much higher praise than Bret Hart.
So her defending her championship against Sebastian Wolf, who is a 5-tool player in my mind, and he is someone who could be the cornerstone of any wrestling promotion. So this is going to be a hell of a match.
Oh yeah, and this is one of those, like, and Spencer has a tendency to do this. Hey, babe, what's good, friend? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us on our debut episode of For Exposure as we talk about some independent wrestling throughout the week. Yeah, so Spencer, full disclosure, he never tells us anything. Like, I don't have any insight into, like, who's winning what or how. I never know. He just books things and I get excited. And this is one of those where I looked at it and I said, Sebastian Wolf for Zoe Sager, like, that's not a match I ever thought I wanted until he booked it, and now I want to see it. And I kind of was like, I wonder why he went that direction. But I guess, like, a talent like Sebastian Wolf, if you get the opportunity, just book it. It's a cool match. Like, don't make he's not a type of guy that you need to make jump through hoops. You know what you're going to get when he shows up, and he's wrestled at Love Wrestling before with State of Emergency. So let's just have it out. And Zoe Sager, to her credit, man, she's killing it as LPW champion. And this might be one of, like, it might be her toughest test yet. Like, and I'm not trying to slight anybody else, because trust me, she's already ran through the who's who of people. But, like, Sebastian Wolf, he's out to prove, if you caught that promo that he cut last week, like, he's out to prove that he didn't need State of Emergency. He's here to show himself. He's got his foot. He's focused. Like, oof, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with this opportunity. And I mean, Zoe's going to have her hands full with this match, but I mean, I have no doubt that she will rise to the occasion. And I have no doubt that Sebastian Wolf is going to bring everything he has to really cement himself in the Western Canada wrestling scene.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I was reading the update came in the phone. I was like, what is that?
That's okay.
But yes, no, yeah, like, and she's another one. Like, she's figured it out. She was one of those. She was in that, like, Son of Irish mode where she was losing and, like, she couldn't quite figure it out. And then boom, once she decided, I'm going to start doing for me, click. So Sebastian Wolf is on that too. I'm going to start doing just for me. I don't have to worry about anybody else. It's going to be money.
So I'm excited for that one. That's my match that I'm going to make sure that I have to go out of my way to watch. So yeah. That's quite the lineup of shows that we just rattled off there.
We ran through quite a bit of stuff, and I feel like we forgot a bunch of things.
I mean, I'm going to punch up our little rundown we had, and I think that's like everything. That's
everything that we had for now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll put this out there. If there's, promotions you want us to make sure we check out, upcoming shows, we have our lists of stuff that's, coming up that we're going to touch on. But I mean, definitely let us know, maybe there's something we're missing, because there's so much out there.
So, right. And that's what I talked about at the top. Like, this is our debut episode. We're still feeling out a few things. We're, figuring out, like, how we want to do it. So we've kind of decided, like, we want to review a couple of the main things from the weekend before, preview you guys, get you ready for the week ahead as best we can. Obviously, things pop up in independent wrestling's card subject to change all the time, so we may miss some stuff. But hey, let us know. Like, you guys, in the comments, if you're like, hey, did you check out this match from, this promotion here? I'll watch it. Yeah. I'm definitely down. I think the ultimate goal for us will be, we're going to ultimately have our own Twitter page where you guys can just go to us, so we can funnel all of this, this information to one spot and be even better about it. Actually, Pluggo, we'll see you Friday morning in my office as usual. Yeah, but to be fair, this Friday he's busy with the Love Pro Wrestling show, so I might get off easy.
Vulgar display of powerbomb.
Vulgar display of powerbomb. Yeah, so every Friday he'll yell at me, but hopefully he'll be like, you know what, that For Exposure thing was pretty good. Now, if you could just figure out beards.
Alex Rain stopping by, who's going to have a big match with Top Talent coming up.
Oh, really? Nice. Well,
Yeah.
welcome in, Alex Ray. Well, that's what we love to see too. If you're an independent wrestler and you're in the chat and you've got matches coming up, send them our way. Let us know. We'll watch them. We'll talk about them. That's what we want to do. We want to grow independent wrestling as best that we can in this little channel that we have here with our me and Blair debut. It was fun, man.
It was
I
good.
Chatting it up.
Yeah.
Figure out some of the kinks.
Yeah,
of how to, like I said at the beginning, like, I didn't realize the intro was only 10 seconds, and I was like, "Oh, shit, done."
I'm rocking out, and Pluggo's just hanging out. Oh yeah,
because on Thursdays it's a little longer, so I can usually like do my thing. But hey,
we're gonna get there.
Oh well, I think that was a great first show. Alex Rand saying, "Hey to Spencer." Yes, Spencer's in the house, making sure we're doing good. But Blair,
that was good.
Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Well, you can find me up on Twitter at GreatMakerPod. The same with Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. But Twitter's the main place I'm at. Love to talk wrestling up on there. So hit me up over there. And I mean, I drop podcasts every week. It's with Double or Nothing coming up. It's mainly focused on that. So in 2 weeks' time, I'll be back. I've got a great lineup for June that I'm very excited to share their stories. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. And then you can find me at Pluggo _ on Twitter, Pluggo Loves Wrestling on all other social media platforms. We'll be back here next weekend doing the damn thing again. There's a lot of wrestling going on this week and next week. It's got a Memorial Day weekend. There's a lot of booked shows. So we'll have to figure out what we want to talk about and cram it all in there. We might have to go a little extra. Who knows? But and then actually you can find me on the True Heel Heat podcast in about 2 hours. I think I'm on at 1 o'clock talking Impact Wrestling Under Siege with SB3 and the boys. That's going to be a good time. So until now, I'm going to try to do this seamlessly with like a pro's pro.
Okay.
I'm going to kick us out with the intro. It's quick, and then I'm going to get us out of here. But
until
next time, friends, we are out. Nope. That was too